I came home 3 days early, only to find the HOA president shoving her bags into my RV, claiming it was hers. She even called 911 on me, screaming that I was the thief. By the time it was over, she wasn't running the HOA anymore. She was facing charges. Act T. The Spark. My name's Marcus Reed. I live in a Denver suburb. Nice enough neighborhood. Lots of rules. Lots of people who think rules equal power. I travel a lot for work. So when I pulled into my driveway early that afternoon, I expected nothing more than a quiet house. Maybe a nap? But the second I stepped out of my car, something felt wrong. The RV my Titan was sitting crooked on the driveway. The side door was half open, lock scratched like someone had taken a crowbar to it. My stomach dropped. And then I saw her. Karen Dinkle, the HOA president, the self-appointed queen of the block. She was tossing bags into my RV like she was packing for a weekend trip. Her husband, Bob, hovered in the background, looking like he'd rather disappear. And their teenage son, Tim, stood at the curb, eyes darting like he knew this was bad. When Karen spotted me, she pointed like I was trespassing on my own property. "It's rented," she yelled. "He's lying. He doesn't even live here." And before I could get a word in, she punched 911 on her phone. I swear, she did it like she'd practiced, like the police were just another weapon she kept in her purse. A few minutes later, 2 patrol cars rolled in. Sergeant Harlan stepped out, jaw already set like he'd made up his mind. He looked at me the way a man looks at a problem he doesn't want to solve. "Sir, keep your hands where I can see them. Step away from the vehicle." That was the first time I felt it, that slow burn of being accused, the humiliation of being treated like a criminal in your own driveway. I did as told, but I pointed at the lock. "Look at the latch," I said. "Fresh pry marks." That door didn't open itself. Karen just got louder, waving her papers, shouting that the RV was hers for the weekend, HOA authorization, and all due. And for a moment I saw Harlan believing her. Act 2. Escalation and the twist. The tow truck rolled up before I could catch my breath. Big ugly thing with an HOA contractor logo slapped on the side. The driver jumped out, clipboard in hand, saying he had authorization to remove the vehicle. Karen clapped her hands like she'd just won a prize. Finally, community safety. I stepped in front of my RV, palms out. This is private property. You don't have court approval. That letter isn't worth the paper it's printed on. But the tow operator hooked the rig anyway. My Titan lurched forward an inch, cable whining. Neighbors had gathered by now, phones out, filming. I could hear Lee, my next-door neighbor, shouting from over his fence. "That's Marcus's RV. He has a permit." Didn't matter. Harlan stood stiff, arms crossed, eyes locked on me like I was the problem. And Karen, she was smiling. That smug little smirk. The kind of smile people wear when they think noise beats truth. And right then, I broke. I thought maybe this is it. Maybe I should just let it go. Let them take it. Deal with it later. For 1 second, I honestly wondered if I was the crazy one, if Karen yelling loud enough actually made her right. But then I looked at Tim, 19 years old, shifting on his feet, face pale, and I realized this kid knew the truth, and he was terrified of it. So I leaned down, lowered my voice. "Tim, you okay?" He cracked like goose under pressure, whispered, "Mom said if we took it, you'd learn about rules. She said she had proof. She said it was the perfect target." That was it. The nail in her coffin. I stood tall, pulled my badge from my belt. The sunlight caught the metal. Special Agent Marcus Reed, FBI. The entire street froze. Harlan's hand stopped halfway to his cuffs. The tow operator's face went pale. Karen's smirk shattered into rage. And for the first time that day, I felt the balance shift. The bigger web. See, the Titan wasn't just an RV. It had a silent alarm system, immobilizer logs, GPS trackers. My phone buzzed with pings from my team. The rig had already flagged tampering attempts, and those attempts lined up perfectly with the moment Karen's crew tried to hook it. We followed the tow truck, let it drive straight into an industrial yard on the edge of town. And what we found there wasn't just my RV. Rows of gutted vehicles, piles of stolen electronics, even a burner phone with Karen's voice on voicemail. "Make sure the rig goes south. We'll handle the fines later." She hadn't just tried to enforce rules, she'd orchestrated a theft. Act 3. The climax. 1 week later, the HOA called an emergency meeting. Karen walked in like she still owned the place. Red blazer, lipstick sharp as a blade, slamming her gavel like she was leading a courtroom. She called everything against her a smear campaign, shouted that she was protecting the community. Then I stood up, and we played the clip. On the big screen, Karen outside my RV, screaming into her phone, calling 911, pointing at me. The room went silent. Then came the voicemail. Her voice, clear as day, telling someone to tow the rig south. Her husband, Bob, stood, voice shaking. She told me to sign the papers. I thought it was routine. And Tim, God bless the kid, stood too. I helped. I was wrong. He lives here. She lied. The HOA treasurer cleared his throat. Per bylaw 7.3, misuse of emergency services is grounds for removal. Hands went up around the room, one by one, steady as a tide. Karen was out. Her face hardened, trying to look larger than life. But the louder she yelled, the smaller she became. Police escorted her out, charging her with conspiracy, false reporting, and attempted theft. The neighbors watched, phones in hand. Some shook their heads. Some looked relieved. And me, I just sat down, exhausted. Because justice isn't loud. Justice is paperwork, timestamps, and patience. Closing line. Noise can win for a moment, but evidence always wins in the end.